feeling about this.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Outer Rim News Show. I'm your co-host, Ashley Wilbanks. Tonight, we are talking about Star Wars in 2023, our anticipation for some of the new shows, some of the new books coming out, or our lack of anticipation. And as with me, as always, are my co-hosts. Let's see, who do I want to bring in first? Who's doing something really cool to make me want to bring them in? Ray stuck.
Oh yes, it's a new year.
Ray Snedeker on the mic. And it wouldn't be a podcast or a show without our other guy. Let's see what he's doing. I could see him in the waiting room. He's not really doing much of anything. Austin Gordy.
Woo.
Clark Kent. Oh no! Are you fixing to flash me and I can't?
Oh no! Wait, what?
Was that
what are we doing now?
thing?
That's just kind of what I wanted to do 2022. Just want to kind of forget all that. Let's look ahead to 2023.
I thought that was the Men in Black thing. I thought you were making us forget.
Unfortunately, we remember even more now.
Yeah, unfortunately. So I think last episode we kind of wrapped up 2022, didn't we? The best, our best of,
kicked it in the butt, wrapped it up, threw it out
with Star Wars. So hopefully this will be a brand new year with Star Wars, and we'll get a lot cooler things, man. Get a lot cooler things. So let's start off by talking about we're just going to run down the list of things that are coming in 2023 from Lucasfilm concerning Star Wars, not Indiana Jones. And we're just going to talk about it. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Bad Batch, even though, did it debut in December or did it come out in January?
I think it's debuting soon. It may have just debuted in January.
Okay, in January. Yeah, I've seen the first 3 episodes. I couldn't remember if it came out like the last week of December or not, but you're right. I think it did come out in January. So the Bad Batch season 2 continues from where the last season left off. I'm not gonna spoil anything for you there, Austin, because I know you probably hadn't seen it, right?
Not yet. I'm getting there. Me and the wife are watching Clone Wars, and then we're going to get to the Bad Batch. So I've just been kind of experiencing it with her. So sorry.
I know. I understand. All right. And I know Ray. We had just talked. You've seen the first 2 episodes.
First 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've seen the first 3. The first 2 episodes are good, but that 3rd episode is like the best. It's classic Star Wars. Like, you have to watch it. It is so good.
Just gives more that Kiwi accent goodness. Yes. Everybody with that New Zealand accent, just keep it up.
So
I love it.
What are you hoping for? I know Austin can't really comment much because I don't even know. Have you seen the first season?
I started it as I watched probably 3 episodes and then stopped. And then that was when we were getting back into the Clone Wars role. So I just saw I backed off and went, okay. And plus I thought it would benefit me to go back through it again before I continued on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So what are your hopes for the Bad Batch season 2? What do you want to get out of it?
Me?
Are you? Okay.
Well, yeah, Austin. I mean, what do you want to get out of a Bad Batch season? Well, I mean, just the Bad Batch in general.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure of all the story material that they're dealing with and stuff like that, but obviously I want to see more of like some of the sort of like the Dark Forces stuff that they used to, like the Dark Forces games on PC and things like that. I would like to start seeing them delve into storylines that touch on some of that stuff, like some of the dark secrets of the Empire. And, because they're, sort of a twisted, not a secret of the Empire, but, a remnant.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I could see them doing something like that to sort of, I don't know, in some ways to make like the Star Wars canon or whatever, the universe, a little more epic. I feel like some of these franchises need to start dropping elements to make them just bigger, almost like, how in the Marvel universe, they may give like a certain TV show sort of this power to sort of make like a big tentpole moment, even though it's not technically a movie. It's almost like movie implications or big things you want to see in the Star Wars universe, and things like that.
So we need a Kang. We need a Kang moment. Which I'm with you though. I'm completely with you.
I know nothing about the character, and I was like, "Hey, this dude looks cool."
Yeah. That's one thing I think could probably help Star Wars, like big picture plotline stuff, is if they come up with something. I
think the Thrawn stuff coming up with Ahsoka is probably the next thing we're going to get on that level. I bet.
If I've heard some of the rumors, what Filoni might be up to is, I think one thing that they're going to do to expand the universe probably is they're going to go into this region that's not really tapped into lore wise yet, which is I think the unknown regions, I believe, or an area in the unknown regions. Mm-hmm. So maybe we might see a whole new species that, something similar to like, I think I heard like Yuuzhan Vong or like the Grissom. You don't have to be them, but this idea of this whole new race that's completely new to everyone in the galactic community.
Well, what's funny is one thing
be like the Ascendancy, like that.
Right now, one thing I noticed, I'm starting to wonder if the story group is actually pulling more elements than we were realizing from old canon and beyond. So I was rereading these books because I just haven't delved into them since I was a little kid. Oh. And I don't have the other one here. I've got both volumes.
The first Thrawn trilogy?
No. These are these little kid. These are little kid books that were like chapter books for young readers, but they took place right after Return of the Jedi. But there was like the Glove of Darth Vader. See, I remember having these books, in school, and they were, they're really cool.
They would have illustrations every now and then. It was one of those books that had like periodic illustrations, like scattered throughout it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was going to say they usually would have really cool.
There was a dude with 3 eyes, I think, in that storyline. Wasn't there?
Yeah, there were 2 of them. There's Trioculus and then Triclops. And what it is the whole point of it is Trioculus is trying to lead the remnants of the Empire, and he's trying to claim to be Palpatine's son, but he has to get the glove of Darth Vader to so that he fulfills the prophecy. But anyway, these books they delve into the prophets of the dark side, which are a sect of dark side worshipers or whatever, like the people that around Palpatine, but they're located in the unknown regions in this book. And so they talk about but in here they don't really call it the unknown regions, but that's what it is. It's what do they call it in here? It's called like hold on. It's like the no zone or the I can't find it, but it was I should have done notes. But it's basically the unknown regions, and in the unknown regions, or in the backstory of it, in one of these books, they even mention the name Nihil, like they're talking about in the what is it? Excuse me,
from the High Republic.
High Republic, thank you. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting that they're starting to do that, and I'm pretty sure they're going to start really pushing the unknown region soon, and that's something I would really want to see.
So, steering back to the Bad Batch, Ray, thoughts on Bad Batch season? What you want from a season 2?
You know what? There's 2 themes I've kind of noticed throughout, like season 1. And I'm curious to see where they go, but there's the whole idea of family. That's one big theme they push, especially with father-daughter type relationships when it comes to Omega. But another one seems to be another big theme is identity, which these clones have. They're out on their own now. They've broken away from their brothers and they're on the run. And it seems like it's gonna, I don't know, I kind of like the, or at least I'm hoping that they expand on it. How are these, how are they, each part of the, Bad Batch, are they gonna kind of evolve, I guess, as people? What do they want to do when they're not soldiers? Because that's what they're trained to be. And now they're, I think that's brought up in the first episode is not bringing up any spoilers also, but there's the idea of, so what's your plan, to long run, you can't do this fight forever one way or another, either you die in the fight or what's next. You can't just be a soldier like you were bred to be forever. So if they keep, I do kind of like the idea of seeing what, if we get to get that far with them.
Yeah, I will. What is this? Is this like a 12 season episode, or is this like a 22 or something?
I think it's more around like 12, 13, because I think season 1 was that long, around 12 or 13,
Golly,
or 16. It might be right. It might be around the 16 episode.
These things are so good. You wish it was longer than the 12 or 13, but that could be what makes it special too. Is
no, it's definitely special.
Story.
Yeah, quality control,
Yeah.
and if you keep it trim and to the point, yeah. 12, I think, is the magic number, especially for stuff like this. I mean, they could probably go 22 episodes easy, 24,
Okay,
Yeah.
so season 1 was 16 episodes. Okay. So 16 again. Season 2 is gonna be 16 episodes.
Okay. That's cool.
Okay. I guess what I expect from season 2 is just good story, but I want to get close. I want to get closer to New Hope with this show,
Which is going to be hard to do because there's still 18 years.
Yeah, it is. But you're starting to see more like the armor for the clone troopers or the troopers or whatever is starting to morph into something better, something more similar.
Well, that does seem like that's a plot that they did start on that pretty heavily in season 1. Was the start of the phasing out of the clones and the phasing in of the stormtroopers. I mean, we saw how season 1 ended in terms of creating more clones. So that's out the window. So
and
because I think wasn't the reasoning just didn't Tarkin point out that training conscripted people wasn't it just is cheaper for them than constantly making clones, even if they're better soldiers.
Well, the clone thing's gone now. I mean,
but early on, I think Tarkin brought it up, or somebody did, or it was either Tarkin or one of the other guys. They brought up like it's much more cost efficient if we start phasing the clones out, and then I think that led to everything that happened in the finale. Was they didn't want to deal with it anymore.
You should really see
Kaminoans.
You should really see episode 3. It's good. It is good. But yeah. So far, the trajectory from just the first 3 episodes, like 1 and 2, were good. I like the little cliffhanger ending on that first episode. There's kind of like a little cliffhanger, and then making you want to come back and watch 2. But man, 3 deals with something totally different than what episodes 1 and 2 dealt with. I mean, but it is so awesome. It is so good.
Yeah, I did love that. The whole thing in that first 2-parter was just, it was Murphy's Law. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Like all of them, they were just going through the ringer. Like poor Tech, he was getting messed. Walking around with a busted leg.
Oh yeah. So I'm excited for finishing off the Bad Batch season 2, and with 16 episodes, we've got a few months of the Bad Batch, which will kind of run into the next thing that we're talking about is the Mandalorian season 3. Ooh. So on Disney Plus, we'll be getting 2 Star Wars shows every week for a little while there. We'll start off again. We'll start with Ray this time since we started with Austin. Mandalorian season 3. What are you excited about?
Oh God. I mean, there's the easy fan service thing. I'm curious about what, if they're going to put any more Star Wars lore characters, or if we're going to bring any back from previous ones. But I'm loving what I've seen in the trailers in terms of it looks like a big storyline is going to be the Mandalorians trying to take back Mandalore.
Yeah.
And that whole reclamation idea of them reclaiming their home. And I've really gotten invested in Din Djarin's storyline as a character, who starts out as he's so cool, but it's revealed, as you get further into the story that he's basically a religious zealot. He's part of this, cult, and he's learning to be his own person now, to not follow so strongly in this doctrine. So I've heard rumors and also that, I think we're going to start seeing more of Pedro's face as the story continues on and on, because I think it's almost supposed to be, a visual, a visual way of showing that he is growing. He's becoming more than who, and that's one of my favorite types of storytelling is, when you can put bookends to a character, at the beginning of the story and the end, when they're not the same as they were at the start. I love that.
So, okay. So Austin, what are you hoping for from season 3?
I mean, I'm with you. I want to see more Mandalore stuff. Like I want to obviously want to get into more of the Darksaber and like Bo-Katan. I'd like to see more of that, but at the same time, I mean, I do want to see that, but I just love those extra characters. I hope we see. I mean, I definitely hope we see. Oh gosh, Mayfeld.
I've heard Gideon's going to be back. I've heard Gideon will be back because
that'll be great. Because I kind of want to see what. Yeah, see, I want to see what they do with it with his character now.
Yeah.
And then I obviously want to see Mayfeld come back. I want to spend more time with that character. It's a shame that we're not going to see more Gina Carano, because I really would have liked to have seen more of her character, or at least just have a cameo or something from her, an episode where she comes in,
or just recast her. I would have been fine with that.
Or that, but that character. I just want that to come in and to be a constant in the show, and then just I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the Naboo Starfighter stuff, because I called it when they were setting it up. I'm like, that's the droid spot. That's going to be perfect for Baby. He's going to be there, and it's going to be perfect, and it's harmonious, and we're going to live happily ever after. And dang it if they didn't do it in Book of Boba Fett. So I mean, like So that's kind of like what I'm most hyped about.
And in speaking of like character growth and stuff, that ship is also a good reflection of his change as a person, because the reason he had the big ship, the Razor Crest, was because that was a big bounty haul. He could store all his bounties in that ship, and so this much smaller craft, you realize it's not going to be used for bounty hunting anymore, because it seems like that's something he used to do now. It seems like it's going to move away from that.
Exactly. He's more of a dad now.
Yeah, it's more about protecting this kid.
Yeah. So what I'm obviously, Mandalorian is a great show, and so I'm excited for the season 3. Rumors are that a lot of these shows are pushing towards like a Marvel kind of, get together crossover event kind of thing. I'm okay with that. That's cool.
As long as it pays off.
Yeah, as long as it pays off, and you're sort of getting that, in the shows. Like the Book of Boba Fett would have the Mandalorian in it, and then the Mandalorian would have Ahsoka in it. So you're sort of getting that now, but I think it's all going to culminate into something bigger, I think, later on. But as far as season 3, I'm hoping that they push more towards that culmination of just making it a bigger story, but while at the same time giving us more growth for Din Djarin. Seeing, like you said, that they're already, kind of previewing this little battle between him and what's her name?
Yeah, Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan, for the right to rule Mandalore, and that's something so far, he doesn't care about. He doesn't want anything with, but it's important to her to do it right. By I've got to defeat you in battle.
Well, it's that superstitious tradition type thing, because the last time she took Darksaber without violence, she lost it to Gideon, to the Empire.
But see, I bet that's going to be part of the story. I hope they talk about the superstition, because it's superstition versus superstition.
Yeah,
because he's a zealot. Or was raised up, brainwashed that way.
They're two.
Here she is going, well, I can't do this without. Yeah, you can. Just take the Darksaber and rule. He wants no part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hope that there's a lot more a good focus on that. But I hope there's a good payoff. Like I hope they do that.
And I'll tell you, Disney is well, I don't know so much as Disney. John Favreau, well, Lucasfilm was super smart by adding this little baby Yoda in there, this little baby Grogu, because the Joker can live 800 years, and there's plenty of story
eras for him to live through.
And they can just keep bringing this guy back. You know, you want some money, free money, you know, just pop baby Grogu in there, you know, or adult Grogu or whatever.
Teenage Grogu.
I'm Grogu.
And it'll be funny because they'll all look like the same Grogu. They'll just be adorable babyish Grogu, and it'll just be a cash cow. As long as the proper, it's like the proper balance of fan service and the story, because they got to have the fan service too. I want to see. I in one of these shows, I've got to see a live action Outrider, like a YT. Was it 2800?
I thought one appeared in Rise of Skywalker.
What like the Outrider?
What with that type of ship that spins on its axis like that? I thought
YT 2400. And if it was in that battle that nobody could make heads or tails of.
You saw the ghost for a few seconds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would have loved to have seen more of that, but yeah, like I would love to see a YT 20. I thought it was 28, but 2400. Yeah, I just want to see that kind of take center stage in some way. I don't know, like bringing in Dash Rendar. I want to see Dash Rendar brought into this canon somehow.
You have to believe that Dash Rendar is going to make his way into some live action movie at some point, or live action show,
or animation. I don't care. I want Dash, but they got to have the Outrider too. I got to have the Outrider and Lebo or whatever his robot.
Who would be your wish list casting then for a live action Dash Rendar? We'd have to go. So he'd have to be someone kind of in that Han Solo age. So he'd be around 30s, 40s.
Here's what's crazy. Because I had thought about that in the past, and it's tough because you don't want to slip into the Han Solo thing because you could easily do that with Dash.
Yeah,
differentiate him. Right. I was thinking about it recently to differentiate him from other people. Now he doesn't have to play him exactly, especially the hair color and things like that. He can do probably his original, like his natural style. But Cole Hauser could do a really good Dash Rendar.
Yep.
Now that I sit back and think about it, you know, if he loses the cowboy look, but keeps that cowboy swagger, but still kind of does something a little different.
I think he could keep the beard. I think he could work that. There's not enough beards. Pop it up in Star Wars.
That's true.
It's like Obi-Wan's got all the retail, all the property on beard growth right now.
I was going to say, but isn't Cole Hauser, isn't his natural hair color sort of like a light red or something like that? It's almost like a reddish brown.
I think so.
I was going to say that's kind of the color of Dash Rendar, as far as I could tell, was almost like red.
It's not a bad pick.
So if they were to do that and give him like a gray beard and have it kind of cut, maybe short and curly or whatever, just kind of have it high up, but whatever, I don't know, but he would be perfect casting because also he'd be big. And I just think that another thing that differentiates like Dash from Han is just strength. Like he's also a brawler, because I just feel like they always pictured him with big old arms for some reason, and he had those kind of like the big bandolier looking shoulder pad thing. So it just always seemed like in some way he was also a gunslinger, but he could box you too, or we could have
Sean William Scott. I would not object to that either.
You know what? He probably could handle it.
I think he'd be a great. I would not mind that. But yeah, you know what? Seriously though, I wasn't even thinking that. I was not considering him at all until you brought him up. So yeah, Cole Hauser, that's a solid.
Well, for a while, I really didn't know who could play a good Dash Rendar without it coming off too hacky, like too much. Like, okay, he's Harrison Ford. But thinking about him and thinking about his toughness and stuff like that, and he's just a good actor. I'm like, yeah, he'd probably kill that character.
Play him more,
and he just looks appropriate too.
Yeah, he does. But there's always the
if you want to differentiate him a little bit from Han, well, in terms of writing, they could make him more more kind of like not not dialogue heavy. You know, he's one of those protagonists that doesn't talk a whole lot.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could
Because Han loves to hear himself talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also he was a video game character. Think about it. A lot of times video game characters are more mute and silent. So he could that would also kind of be a nod to him being a video game origin character. Well, what was it you said, Ashley? You were saying who was the other?
I said Chris Pratt, but I mean that's Star
But see,
Wars.
that would make sense too. Like in my head, that would make sense, especially after seeing him in Guardians of the Galaxy. But then I feel like people would be like, Star Lord. And I'm like, eh.
All right. So let's get back on the tracks here. So next up, Mandalorian's covered. Star Wars Visions Volume 2.
I have not watched Volume 1.
Also,
I need
you watch
to.
Volume 1.
I mean, I watched select few like the Ronin and stuff like that, but it like they're cool. But I'm always sort of it kind of reminds me of the Animatrix. It's cool, and it's a lot of people like that kind of stuff where there's different story styles and animation styles and artists, and I'm 100% for it. But a lot of times I have to be in the mood to watch stuff like that. So and when you tell me, oh, they're just kind of, it's almost like fan fiction, like they're not really canon. I immediately it gets just put on the back burner for me where it's just not a priority.
Yeah.
So, but I am totally for them doing another season, and I think if they did do another season, I don't think they delved into these genres, but they should definitely do like somebody should do like a just another 80s Saturday morning cartoon rendition of a Star Wars show, just some idea that's not droids or Ewoks, but something equivalent that you just get an episode of. That would be one cool thing if somebody did that in that style. Yeah, and then maybe see, that's always how I'm picturing it is my nostalgia eye. So it would be that. And what if they even did like a
Bruce Timm style?
Well, see, I mean, I've always been like, why won't they do a Bruce Timm series? Like, get him to do a Star Wars series, like adapt the Heir to the Empire trilogy or something. He would be amazing, or the Jedi Academy trilogy. I mean, I just want Bruce Timm to I just want him to do that. But I was going to say they should also do like a like something set in the Ewok, the Ewok movie world, like with what was it, Sindel?
Sindel, yeah.
Yeah,
and,
like just touch back on that storyline. Yeah, and try to canonize that in some way, like tie it into this, just like some small like short story.
Remember that really happy fun adventure about those kids that were trying to get reunited with their parents? Wait till you see how the sequel starts.
Yeah.
Family annihilation. That's how you start it.
Yeah. You go, girl, by yourself. We all did.
Well, God, I think the first time right when we come in, the mom's like already dead, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see the dad. He dies, and the kid, the son that was the main character in the first one.
The first movie drags the mom into the hut as she's dead, and then also the hut just gets obliterated. I saw that before Caravan of Courage. That was my introduction to the whole Ewoks movie.
I just pictured whoever the director was or whatever, the guy, he was like, I just wanted to kick him in the nuts. I just want a swift kick in the nuts like that. Yeah, take that, kids.
Nothing like a little childhood trauma to start your sequel off with.
Oh Lord. All right, so I'm with you, Austin. I've seen a couple of them. I tried. Believe me, as a Star Wars fan, I tried. I just couldn't do it. There's, if it's not canonical, then there's nothing pulling me in.
Right.
Yeah. Or if it's not something like you said, like some of the Legends books that are just been converted to, cartoon form, there's nothing there to really pull me in. It's like, I don't want this, fictional Star Wars garbage.
Yeah. I haven't even read the Ronin book, and I need to, but I haven't.
Yeah. It's just like those, I can't remember who puts them out. Maybe it's Kotobukiya. Those little samurai-looking Darth Vader and Stormtrooper figures and Boba Fett figures. They don't do anything for me.
It's just it's more like it's kind of like a fan nod sort of thing, like people getting to kind of make their dream thing. That's just sort of weird and obscure and but yeah, it's kind of For teach their own.
Any thoughts, Ray, before we move on?
I probably should watch some of it sometime.
Okay.
I'm interested in it. It's one of those things that's like it's not nearly a priority thing to watch. So
We should all just sit down together and just watch some of them, and just rate them. Just be like,
get three Oculus Rifts or just three Oculus Watcher things, and then just all join them for a little watching party. We all just sit blindly either on a bed or on our recliners and just like, it's all right.
It's all right. Let's live stream this.
Sweet. Yeah, cool.
All right. So next up on the list is Ahsoka. I know we're all itching to see this. I'll start off just because I haven't yet. Super excited about Ahsoka. Just been waiting. Well, I mean, we've already seen a live action version of Ahsoka, but she gets her own series now. I'm hoping Luke plays a bigger part in it, but I know he probably won't. But I am anxious to see if this is where things are going, what happens to Ezra and Thrawn from Star Wars Rebels. And I got a feeling this is going to explain this. So that's my biggest thing that I'm looking for. He tried to mute and he didn't even mute.
I didn't mute. Dang it. I thought I hit it.
He's like burping and coughing.
Sorry.
Y'all, I saw an Instagram post of about to send that to you. It was like this fat guy's head in the MGM logo, where the lion is.
Yeah.
It's just him burping. It's just so perfect.
Didn't mean to
It's so
ruin your
good.
Ahsoka moment there.
No.
Okay.
I think he was.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. That's all I want. That's all I want is
Dude, I want more. Like, I just hope it's like what they did with Ahsoka in Mandalorian, where the big fight scene between her and the other chick.
The magistrate.
Yeah, that if that was a nod to kind of like more of the action we're gonna see with Ahsoka, where it's like that samurai, I want to see that and swordplay. I want, I really do want Ahsoka sort of exploring the outer boundaries of Jedi, because she's not really a Jedi. So it's like I want to see that. Obviously, I've heard rumors that the Thrawn and Ezra stuff is going to be a game changer in the whole universe, and so like I hope that I just hope that the Thrawn stuff is just earth shattering. I want it to be as good as I'm hoping it is, because this is everything I've wanted. It was Thrawn live action, so as long as they do this, it's going to be great. That's the most. I think that's like the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is I just hope they kind of keep that route, because I want to see. Oh, and also obviously the Rebels live action stuff like Hera and Sabine. Oh man, that show is my number one. That's what I'm most even over Mandalorian. That's my most anticipated.
Just at the thought of being able to see some of these Rebels characters in live action.
Yes,
and Thrawn.
And just that the after effects of Rebels, like now that Kanan's gone and everything, and it's just like, to me, it was just that last season, the last half of that season was just such a hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't get to we never got to unpack it, and I thought we were probably going to get another animated show to sort of unpack and unwind, but no, it seems like we're going to get a live action show. So I really want to get into Sabine and Hera's head afterwards, to like, what's how are you handling everything, what's going on, all that sort of stuff.
Cool. Ray, wrapping up Ahsoka.
God, where to begin? Superficially, I hope that Sabine doesn't keep the future hair that she had in the epilogue of Rebels. I hope it's more of the style she had throughout the first 4 seasons.
You're so superficial.
That was a superficial one. Now, big lore wise, I'm very interested in where the whole mystery of Thrawn and Ezra's disappearance, where they ended up at. I'm interested in that. In terms of big lore stuff, I'm interested in seeing a live action Cheese. That's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm assuming that Thrawn's this secret, obviously he's got to be appearing, but it seems like they're really holding him close to their chest about any kind of reveal about him. So I'm hoping, I'm assuming we're going to get that. And I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping that I'm right, that Mary Elizabeth Winstead is going to be Hera.
Yeah.
Um, but personal character wise, one thing I am really interested in and I'm excited for, and I hope they kind of lean kind of deep into it, is with the idea of Hayden Christensen coming back to this time play Anakin, not just Anakin in a flashback. And I think he is going to be playing Anakin in a flashback, because I think there's a young Ahsoka that's been cast also. A girl that's been cast as a younger version.
There's several versions of Ahsoka. Yeah.
So, but Force Ghost, the concept of him gives this fun idea of a character getting to actually get closure with someone they knew who was lost to them. She never got to reconcile what happened with Anakin. So, if he is appearing to her, as we're assuming, if he appears in the show to her as a Force Ghost, I do like the idea of these scenes where these characters are kind of going to have to come to terms with what they did and what happened to them, especially Anakin, if he feels guilt over what he did, or if he just kind of blindly feels redeemed, or if he does, or if he knows what he, I don't know. I'm very curious about how that can, if they do that with them, like just to see them play off each other.
We'll see.
Yes, wait.
We'll see. All right. Next up is something that we don't really know much about other than Jude Law, Skeleton Crew. It is scheduled to come out in 2023. Whether it does, we'll see. The only thing we know is it stars Jude Law, and it takes place after the events of Return of the Jedi. So, Ray, we'll start with you. What do you hope, or what do you think the show is going to be about?
I saw a rumor, and if it's true, it would make sense, and I like the idea because it does tie into High Republic stuff, which is that Jude Law is playing Lor San Tekka from The Force Awakens, Max von Sydow's character. Is that right? Was that Max von Sydow playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
He played Lor San Tekka.
So that, if that's right, because that would kind of fit the timeline, he would be right after Return of the Jedi. He's an old man 35 years later in Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
But the San Tekkas are very untapped in terms of who they are live action wise. But if you've read the High Republic books, the importance of the San Tekkas, which is they mapped the hyperspace routes. So that's some pretty interesting stuff. The whole concept of hyperspace is very untapped in the Star Wars universe. So that could be a pretty cool idea. What if they're finding new routes or something like that?
But also, what that could lead to is there is a relationship there between Luke and Lor San Tekka.
Yeah, and also, if this ties in also with Ahsoka, Annie, it could tie in with the whole idea of the these unknown regions, or this whole new section of space that we might jump into with Ahsoka. Maybe that plays into the Skeleton Crew. Maybe they're trying to map this area out, and they find worse stuff out there or something like that. Because I like the idea of space horror happening with Star Wars a little bit. It'd be hard to put,
Yeah.
Aspect, but I think you could have some fun horror with it.
Yeah.
No, I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Austin, any thoughts on Skeleton Crew?
I really don't know much about it, but if it's delving into, if it's after Return of the Jedi, if it's going into the whole Lor San Tekka stuff, it'd be one thing. I mean, do we know if it's like Skeleton Crew from the perspective of like the Republic, or is it from the crumbling Empire, or?
Yeah, we don't know anything.
See, I was going to say, now if changing kind of gears, if it's more of like, I mean, I guess like the Republic or the Rebellion shifting into the Republic or something like that, or even the Empire, whatever, I could see them kind of going into a like the Return of the Jedi, the Richard Marquand, or how do you say his name?
Marquand.
Marquand. The image. I don't know. Return of the Jedi had a particular eye. It just had a look different than all the other Star Wars movies. that, so I feel like if they kind of styled that sort of like almost like if they start looking at the production designs in the Battle of Endor, like from the guerrilla fight perspective and things like that, and start to go with those aspects, because I haven't seen enough of that. I don't know, and it almost turns into what would George Lucas do if we were making this show in the 80s right after Return of the Jedi wrapped and then we were making this show. I would almost go that route if that makes any sense. I would start looking at that production and starting to make it look like that in a way. I don't know if it's almost the way they took Rogue One and really with the espionage and with all the, and the action, they really blended it into the look of A New Hope, because A New Hope had a particular glaze and a particular style to it. And it looks different than the other Star Wars movies. So it's just, I almost look at them like that, like they're almost a different note or a different sound, like a sound wave. And then I want to look in this show and put it in the realm of Return of the Jedi and give it that 80s, that 80s look that they were going for, that gritty 80s in Return of the Jedi.
But you brought up something that I hadn't thought about yet. And if the rumors about the Lor San Tekka stuff doesn't play out, this, the title Skeleton Crew could refer to like just this group of Imperials that, there's not many of them left on this Star Destroyer.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And there's just a few of them manning this ship, and they're trying to keep the Empire alive or doing whatever they need to do.
And then what if it's like it's almost like the Star Wars answer to, it's like the Star Trek version of Star Wars, where it's a weekly show where they follow this skeleton crew, and we're following it from their perspective. So from their perspective, it's this wide Empire dominated universe that they just got to get back. They just got to win it back. And so we're going to run into some pesky rebels every once in a while, but if we can fight them and beat them, it'll be just another score for the Empire. But in reality, it's like every scrap they get into, they just got to retreat and get out of there. It'd be like, it's all right. We'll just fight. We'll get back in there another day.
Like it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
It's like it's like they keep lying to themselves, thinking that we're going to win this battle, but no, you're in a crumbling, dead empire. Like it would just be kind of funny.
Or put The Office on top of that, so they got like a film crew recording.
A mockumentary story.
Yeah, documentary.
And they're just like, I can't believe that these people are falling for this. Like they think that they're on the winning side.
Yeah. You got one guy who really knows. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Then Jude Law would be the he would be the Michael Scott of the Star Destroyer, and he's just this bumbling idiot that really doesn't know what he's doing. Or no, he's a bumbling idiot that actually does know what he's doing, because that was Michael Scott.
Okay, so moving on, we have Star Wars Young Adventures.
What if we just spoiled the show, and what if they're like crap?
Nobody need to watch it,
and we get cease and desist letters immediately. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures. This is a kid-focused animated series that follows a group of High Republic era younglings as they embark on a path to becoming Jedi.
Oh,
this is created for preschoolers. It will premiere on Disney Plus and Disney Junior later in the year.
So so this is an animated series that's set. So this is another High Republic series, then technically.
Yeah, this is High Republic. In that era.
But it's going to be like pre-K, so it's going to be really like
two sides of the spectrum. There, you got for premiering the world of the High Republic. You got little kindergarten kind of kids show over here. You got Dark Acolyte, probably going to be a lot of Jedi murder. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? That's not only that doesn't come till 2024 though. So plenty of time to forget plenty of time to forget.
I thought that might be one that we're going to talk about tonight. I forgot. Yeah, I guess that will be next year.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it.
I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Oh, you're talking about okay, I thought we were talking about the Acolyte still.
No, Young Jedi, whatever. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I would peek at it and see what it is, but like I looked at the Muppet Babies fairly recently when they rebooted it, and it's like a pre-K show, and it is for sure a pre-K show. It's not like I mean, it's still got some of the charm of the original cartoon, but it's not. It's not the original cartoon.
All right, so that's it for the live action stuff for 2023. The next thing we're going to talk about is the lone video game that we know is coming in 2023, which is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And that's enough talking about that. We don't need to talk. Nah, I know everybody's super excited for it. I've got it pre-ordered. I know y'all have it pre-ordered.
Yes.
Austin, go ahead and start. What are you excited for about this video game?
I mean, I don't know. I just want more of Homeboy's story. I mean, I don't know. I loved it, and plus, it's that unknown. I mean, since we've already cracked that surface of the hidden Jedi running around while the Empire's still out and about. You know what I'm saying? And this would be now where we're getting to about the same time as Andor, right? Because isn't this like 5 years before?
Yeah, he's a bit older in this episode, in this series, in this game.
Well, Fallen Order started about 4 years after Order 66, 4 or 5 years, wasn't it?
I thought it was 5, something like that, maybe 4 or 5. I thought it was like not long after, but maybe like 4 to 5 years after that. And then this is supposed to be what, 5 years later?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so maybe we're in the Obi-Wan realm now, maybe like in the 10 years before.
But it says it picks up 5 years after the events of Fallen Order.
Right. Okay.
And Fallen Order takes place 5 years after Revenge of the Sith, so this is 10 years.
So we're at the Obi-Wan show time length. So, I mean, I would like to see it, in some way tie in with like Obi-Wan or something like that. But at the same time, I don't know. I really love that story and the whole fact that you have the like the Inquisitor thing kind of going on. I don't know. I'm excited about that.
Well,
Me and my wife both are just really we're both like super psyched about it. I know she's itching to play it.
What I was going to say was you mentioning the Inquisitors. That could be their little connection with Obi-Wan. They could, if any Inquisitors appear in the game, they have the actors, and they can just, use them. Like who is it that plays the fifth brother, Sun King,
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, he could he might appear in mocap, and his Inquisitor might appear because. He is alive during that whole period up until Rebels when Maul kills him. And then there's also another Inquisitor, the silent. She spoke a couple times, but in Obi-Wan, the yellow with the like kind of tendrils hair.
Mm-hmm.
They have a figure for her out of the Black Series, but she didn't really do too much in the show. Maybe she might appear, and they might show more of her, what she's like as an Inquisitor.
In an interview with Cameron Monaghan, he teased that the sequel is more mature story and describes it as darker and more challenging. Ooh.
So he's
kill
kids.
Yes,
he's a kill bunch of younglings.
It says that the fifth brother, the Inquisitor fifth brother, he's supposed to be he's supposed to appear, I think.
Oh, so
no, wait, no, I think he's going to be in the books, but maybe he'll also, but maybe that means he'll also appear in the game. But they're supposed to be like he's supposed to appear in which I've got the book pre-ordered too. I think it's Battle Scars.
Oh, you're just ruining everything. I'm going down the list here, Austin.
But I was going to say the Powan guy. At first, I thought he was almost like some sort of an old Inquisitor or something, but he's a senator, I guess, an Imperial senator. I want to see what his deal is.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you in terms of the game itself, like the gameplay, I'm super excited because they talk about how there's different forms you have to master, and it reminded me a lot of the Ghost of Tsushima game.
Oh,
and if anybody's ever played that, and once it's like one of those games where it's really easy to pick up and play. And especially once you master everything, it's like you feel incredible, like you feel indestructible. So if you can really get to feel this way in this game where you can just, you're like, as you fight people, you learn exactly what fight style is going to beat which people. So you start just tearing through people. I don't know. It gives you a great feeling like you're a master swordsman. So if this game is kind of going to start to borrow a little from games like that to, replicate that kind of stuff, man, that's going to be great. Like people that haven't played those games are going to be like, whoa. It's at least me, I loved it. Getting the switch, and plus there's different lightsaber forms, so getting to actually learn the forms too, like in the canon, like for people just to get to learn it and also get to incorporate it in a video game would just be really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to, or did you have anything to say, Ray?
I mean, I'm excited to see Cal's journey. I really liked Cameron Monaghan's performance as him.
Yes.
And also, oh gosh, who is it that plays Sarah? She played on Matt. She was on Mad TV.
Yeah,
Mo Collins. Is that who it is?
It sounds familiar.
Deborah Wilson. No, Deborah Wilson. Mo Collins, the other girl. Deborah Wilson. Sarah, I'm really interested in what's going on with her because in the trailer, it looks like she's kind of becoming a new Jocasta Nu. It looks like almost like, because if you see in the trailer, she's got like, it looks like a little library she's been building.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe she's trying to gather up, Jedi artifacts and stuff like that and try to, get as much information, that the Empire hasn't managed to destroy already. I'm interested in that. And I've heard that this one's going to have AI companions, which is a new thing for, this Star Wars game. So, because the new character that you saw in the trailer, the guy who helped Cal off the ledge, his name is Bodhi. I think he's supposed to be like an AI companion. So, something like you've seen in like the Uncharted games or Last of Us. So it should be interesting to see how this game is going to evolve mechanically from the first one.
Oh God, you're going to save him all the time, aren't you?
No. I mean,
they're just saying it'll just be like a partner out there. You probably could you'll probably have to help solve puzzles with them and stuff like that. But I don't know if you have to actually save them.
Yeah, keep him from dying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, if it does, I'll get mad if it's always like you having to continuously save them from dying.
Yeah, I've noticed at least lately, especially with games that are more linear, like The Last of Us or Uncharted, they've done a good job of making AI companions much more independent and able to take care of themselves. Like Ellie in the first Last of Us was a game changer for AI companions. They really kind of made you not hate having a second character that's always around you. They had to do cheats and stuff at the time to kind of help, because one thing an AI companion could easily do is like, if you're trying to stealth through a place, if they get spotted, that ruins the stealth you're trying to do. So they had to do little cheats, like she couldn't get spotted, by enemies if you're like sneaking through a place. Even if they're looking right at her, she can't get spotted. So AI companions have come a long way. So I'm not too worried about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So transitioning from the video games, I know we're running short on time. Books coming out next year.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of hit on this, but there is Jedi Battle Scars, which sort of kind of bridges Fallen Order and Survivor.
Yeah, that's probably one of my big top. I don't know what else is there on the list besides that. I know there's more High Republic, but is there anything else?
It's the only things that's been announced is this book and like 2 or 3 High Republic books, novels.
I'm still waiting on that Fallen Star sequel.
Yeah. So
that's what. It'd be cool
4th.
if they did a sequel like in adult form. What if they did like an adult book sequel to it?
Take place 10 years later where they're both middle-aged almost.
Mm.
And her, have all her breastises and gleaming buttocks. I know, I'm just joking.
I know. So
written by Danielle Steele.
Yes. April 4th, you got the High Republic Cataclysm by Lydia Kang. Don't know her.
That sounds very cataclysmic.
Yep. Then you have High Republic middle grade books, The Quest for Planet X, and a young adult novel, Path of Vengeance by Kevin Scott. So I'm sure there's other stuff coming out like later in the year. It's just it hadn't been announced yet. So
I was going to say before we wrap all of that up, this is non-Star Wars related, but Lucasfilm related. Have y'all watched Willow or finished Willow or any of that?
Still not. I still haven't gotten to it.
I was going to say I thought it was great overall. I thought it was a great show. I think they need to do some books like in the same, the same publisher and stuff. Put out some Willow books from like Disney or whatever, the Lucas book, because it's still Lucasfilm or Lucas Books, right? In conjunction with Bantam or Random House or something like that.
I think so.
Who releases the books?
The
Book
Disney
publisher.
No,
Because I feel like you see Disney, but isn't there still it's still
Del
part
Rey?
of Lucasfilm?
In the Del Rey books.
Yeah, it's part. Well, I know it used to be Del Rey, but
or Penguin
that's why I'm
Books
like,
or something.
Well,
Not
I mean,
Penguin.
like this High Republic book is Del Rey.
no. So it's probably still part of all Del Rey.
Yeah, the Rising Storm is Del Rey.
So yeah, it would be cool if they. Okay. If they did some Willow books in that would be great. I mean, just to expand that, maybe take some Star Wars authors and people that are fans of that series to expand that universe as well. I think that would be pretty cool. Because I'm sure they'll probably do the same thing for Indiana Jones when that comes out. Because Indiana Jones has it's got a pretty good bit of novels, and on top of the movie tie-ins.
I don't know about y'all, but did you see the fan stream from Hasbro with the Indiana Jones stuff?
It's very awkward.
I didn't see it, but I watched
It was
pictures.
really awkward. It looked like they were
Oh.
struggling to get stuff out. Like the figures weren't bad. I'm not interested in any of the ones that they showed. Like personally, because
Yeah.
But even some of the figures that they showed were wrong. It's like Indiana Jones with the bow tie.
uh-huh.
The things they were talking about. No, he didn't have a bow tie. He had a regular tie on
Really
for the scenes they were talking about.
talking about it in the beginning of Temple of Doom.
No, the one with the bow tie, he was in what's the
Oh, you're
last
talking about
one.
Professor. Are you talking about
Yeah.
his Professor outfit?
Yeah, from when
Oh.
he was going under that street. He had a regular tie on.
Oh, you're talking about the Last Crusade?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do remember wearing a regular tie for that. Yeah.
Then I saw somebody show side by sides of like they're showing the retro Marion and
Mhm.
how they went all out and did so much research on creating her dress.
Mhm.
And if you look at the soft goods, like the pattern,
Mhm.
and you put the original beside it, it looks nothing alike. It's like, well, y'all really did your research.
Quality
'Cause this
control.
doesn't look anything alike, you know.
Although,
I mean-
I was more interested in what they announced in the pipeline than what they actually presented.
Exactly.
Like,
a lot of people were.
I was excited for Temple of Doom Indy. From the picture they showed, it looks like it's gonna be the one with the ripped up shirt and everything.
Yep.
What he's basically wearing after the mine car
Mhm.
finishes. So that's
Short
a cool
round.
and short round, which
Yep.
is that's awesome.
That would be what I'd want. I'd want Indy and short round.
Yeah, and like this is one line where besides short round, because I do love short round. The only other character that I'd probably want to get like an indie from each movie, like so you got the Temple of Doom. I would like the indie that appears kind of, I guess. Trying to think of a great part in Last Crusade. Probably how he looked kind of in the finale.
Yeah.
That outfit that he had on, and then old Indy, I wouldn't mind having that either.
Did you see
Yeah, I'd
that?
like to have an old Indy. Is it going to be from the newest movie, from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
I was saying Kingdom, and then get to the Dial of Destiny.
Did you see the role play whip for kids?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my! They shouldn't even.
It like I said, it was awkward. It was a bit awkward.
Dude, that was the worst.
It was a
Like,
bit
what
awkward.
kid wants that crap?
Yeah, it
That was the worst. It's like a party favor.
yeah.
That,
That was a weird. That was probably one of the weirdest streams I'd seen.
oh God. Okay.
Well, also there was like a lot of. It seemed like they were having problems with the teleprompter. Either that, or the guy in the middle was getting really, really nervous throughout the presentation. But I think I've seen him do stuff before. But he acted like I got this demeanor from him sometimes, like he was a person who's the first time he's been on camera before. and he's like misses word, or sounds like he was missing words, or he got nervous between
it was
parts of the teleprompter.
It was wow.
It
You
was
really need to go watch it, Austin.
bizarre.
If you missed it. You
Very
can go back
bizarre.
and watch it. They should delete it.
Yikes.
They should delete
Yikes.
All right, so that's going to wrap us up for this episode of
What-
the Outer
what-
Rim News Show. What?
Do we have halls?
Oh, Halls. Yes, go ahead. I don't have Hall, but you go ahead.
Deck the halls. I've got some halls now.
I got 2 Black Series figures that came in this week from these new waves. First off, one I've been really excited that I finally got. I have Alias Sakura.
Oh,
Oh, that looks so good, dude.
she's from Avatar.
Figure model is great. Joints, a little bit of a problem with the ankles. The ankles are very, very loose for some reason. But I got her standing pretty solidly right now, especially with these little stands. Kudos to Austin. These are some of the stands that you supplied me with a
Nice.
while back.
Yeah.
And they're great, fantastic
Yeah.
for standing
No,
for
they
figures like
work.
this, especially. And the other is Rupert Friend, his Grand Inquisitor.
Oh,
From
I actually wouldn't mind
Obi-Wan.
having that.
I should probably switch this over to my other camera so I can show them a little bit closer. One second, let me switch over.
Yeah, that is.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely want to get that figure for sure.
Yeah.
Because I know this sounds crazy, but I want to just like
That
add
is
him to
cool.
my Rebels collection.
Yeah, I really like it. Well, I'm one of those people that didn't really have a big problem with how he ended up looking. Even though he doesn't have the typical Palin look, from from episode 3 and
Mhm.
from Rebels cartoon, I liked it. But basically, well, it's more probably because I do like the actor. I've watched him since he started in like Homeland. I think he's a great actor. He just hasn't had the greatest luck getting great roles to kind of help him break out further.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they keep bringing him back, he could do some great stuff as the Inquisitor if they give him some good parts and some in something.
Yeah, I was like, when they showed him in the original trailer, it looked terrible. I mean, like in a way, like it was like, wow, they really missed a lot of points there. But in his performance, I felt like he was passable. Like he was actually really good. So any of the faults, like him not looking like the real oval shaped Powin head,
Yeah.
I don't know. He just made up for it with his performance. He was a really good. He had great moments. So yeah, I thought he was passable for sure.
All right, Austin.
Man, you know what? I actually had 2 figures as well. When I went to Target the other day, man, and I actually found a really good deal on a Boba Fett, throne room Boba Fett. So
Ooh,
We got
Yeah.
Tamara
and
Morrison.
so
Ooh.
they had them on sale for $15, but when I scanned them on the app, they had it marked to 11. And so when I rang him up, he was ringing up 15 normal. So I was just trying to see if I can get away with it. And I told him, hey, it's ring. I even did it on the app. I just rung it up and they just price matched the app. So I got him for $11.
sweet.
Yeah. So I
that is
was
a good deal.
pretty happy for a deluxe Black Series figure.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how much we should just be walking up in the stores brand new, just $11. I danced to the register. So this was great.
And it's a solid figure too.
He is. I mean, literally
Yeah.
too. He's solid as a rock. And then I got Mayfeld.
Migs Mayfield.
Da-da-da-da.
Actually, you know what? I think mine is arriving tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
That
cool. He
Bill
looks
Burr.
just like what's his
He's
face.
He's gonna put someone through a wall.
Yeah.
You can just
But he's-
add in the proper curse word before wall.
But no, man, I love that they give you 4 blasters. So I've got 2 in the holster, 2 in his hand, and then you get the pop out blaster as well. I mean, this thing
That is
is
awesome.
great. Yeah. I mean, the only complaint I had was, and it may just be mine, but to me, I don't know if I can get it to focus. I feel
Okay.
like certain angles, like his face sculpt is a little off. Like when you look at him,
But he looks close. I mean,
I'm trying to see if I have I can get my camera to
there
He
you
looks
go.
a lot closer than Oscar Isaac as his first Poe Dameron figure.
yeah, but my only thing is it's like if you're looking at him, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this camera right. if you look at them straight on is when it's really odd. Like if you catch
Cover up
it,
your
there we
face.
go.
There you go. There
I was
you
going to say it's really odd straight on. See, it's like his eyes are all off and stuff. But if you catch him on a profile, it's better. Like that side's probably one of his better sides. See, that one's not as great, but it's okay. But it looks like it may just be this figure or something. But I don't know if it's the
Nah,
sculpt
it's probably
or what.
I mean, it's probably like that.
Yeah, it's just not the best sculpt, and maybe the other one, where he's in the Imperial suit, maybe a better sculpt. But yeah, that's the only. I mean, it's not a terrible complaint. I mean, he overall still great, and man, I'm just glad that they had all that. And then one more thing, it's just
got another one.
Just one more thing for Christmas. I got the Shadows of the Empire soundtrack. So I got that on vinyl. So I've been listening to that while I read comics and stuff. And this is actually a really good score, the Shadows of the Empire score. Yeah,
sweet.
They need to do that for the High Republic. Someone just needs to make a score of like.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I was going to say it seems like they have been gearing up more on the Star Wars records, because now that they need to re-release, like just do some reissues of the trilogies, like the prequels, the originals, and then the sequel trilogies. Just do some re-release, at least the first two sets. Do some re-releases, especially the prequels. I want an episode 1 soundtrack really bad on vinyl. They need to do that, but they've been doing Mandalorian has been getting reissued at Target. Like instead of just picture discs, they've actually reissued season 1 and season 2 separately on like colored vinyl. And I've got to get a copy. They look great. So I hope they continue that thing of just releasing some more Star Wars related stuff on vinyl.
Speaking of that, the episode of the Bad Batch I keep harping on, it had some good music in it too. For whatever reason, it ended, and I was like, "Oh wow, that sounds really good." It could have just been the episode was so good. I like me.
It was just Scatman Crothers crooning.
Yeah. Clones. All right. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Outer Rim News Show. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you in 2 weeks for the Outer Rim News Show. And 1 week for that toy life.
Ooh.
Later, folks.
Ooh. See ya. Later days.
Don't do it, Austin. Don't do it.